All right, so I am Marcus Trice, and I thought I would do a video for this particular assignment. This is week one assignment for FTT 2016586, Firearms Finishes and Engraving. It says, review the required content from this week's reading regarding sanding and polishing. And I found it fascinating because I truly want to be able to do this. Here in this bucket here, I have a gun in pieces here, and I think I may have mentioned it in the post, in the forum, that is, week's discussion, I guess. That's one of firearms that I want to sand down and then either polish and refinish. And it says, research come up with a realistic quote of purchasing the following equipment: a spindle grinder polisher, a disc belt sander combo, and a sandblasting cabinet and tumbler. So I've actually did this prior to the class. I've been paralyzed by indecision, so to speak, on which ones are better. And that's why I was hoping that this class would kind of lead me in the correct direction on buying the right equipment. I have looked at, and actually, I hope you don't mind, I actually have a flyer here, and I'll go over some of the things that I've actually looked at. But I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this is Harbor Freight. This is a Harbor Freight flyer. Now, I've gone into Harbor Freight quite a few times and actually have looked at the cabinets in there, the sandblasting cabinets. And they have two models. They have one that sits on top of a counter. They have one that is bigger and it has its own legs. And there's a bit of a price difference in them. I've also gone on to Eastman, I believe it is Eastman. Harbor Freight has a red one, Eastman has a blue one. And everything I've read says that they are the same type of cabinet, with a light, with the gloves, with the door. So that's where I'm leaning to. So with the cabinet, specifically, if I'm gonna do it in this particular location, I may build another countertop like this and put the countertop version on a countertop. Now this, I'll show a picture of this. This countertop is really long. It's about 12 feet long. And I have my reloading on it, and I also have a vise. I'm gonna make another one on this side over here with something similar to this, and it's gonna be a refinishing station. It's gonna have a cabinet for sandblasting. Then I'm gonna have a buffing wheel on here. I would like two. I'd like a buffing wheel and a grinder. The grinder, to me, and I know that we've read about it, just seems like it's such an aggressive material, or a piece of equipment for aggressively removing metals, and that kind of scares me. I never thought about a belt sander until I started reading the course material, and it makes perfect sense, absolutely perfect sense. It says in here, reflect as a beginning gunsmith, which decisions would you make regarding the purchase of polishing equipment? How important are these in the trade? Well, I can tell you that for me as a beginning gunsmith, I need one, and for the projects that I have, I want one. So I probably will go this week to Harbor Freight and actually purchase one, and or also a bead blast cabinet. And obviously you're gonna have to buy the bead blaster itself. And so those are three things that I'm gonna actually buy. And how important are these to the trade? If you wanna refinish, I think that they're very, very important. I know that the hand finishing seems to be the more, the better approach, I guess, or the more sought after approach. It says, which accessories would you require? Obviously, the different types of buffing wheels and the different types of polishing compounds. If I was going to use the buffing wheel. But for some, I would definitely use the polishing stones, and I like the fact that there was a link to a place that you could buy these polishing stones. I did go to Brownells. I did look on Brownells, and I was a little confused, and some of them were kind of expensive. And then it's asking for a diagram of the shop and your future shop using these type of power machines. So like I said, so working in my house here, I have a 12-foot table this way, and I want to build potentially another 12-foot or maybe a 10-foot table this way. So I've got my, I've got some reloading. I may move this down, my gunsmithing area, and then a polishing area. I'd also like to make an area for bluing or parkerizing, so that I may put that in an exterior building or shed that I have to because of the bluing. I mean, because of the fumes and the chemicals and things like that. So real quick, let me pause the video so that I can pull up the prices in here. Okay, so this is a continuation on to this particular video, and I hate to use the flyer, but this is the only way that I can really demonstrate or illustrate, and this is really where I would buy this from. I know there's other places you could buy it, but it's more expensive, and as somebody that's starting off, I'd rather buy the inexpensive stuff until I establish myself and the clientele, and then maybe move on. So basically, you're looking at a cabinet floor blast cabinet, basically $180. You can use the coupons at a Harbor Freight and maybe get a little bit lower, but along with that, you're going to need a pressurized abrasive tank, and then the blaster on it and the funnel, and that's $120. That does not count the bag of media, and you know, it depends on what you're using, but that can be anywhere from, I think it was like $20 to like $50. Also, they have 3 different types. Well, actually, they probably have a few more different types of belt sanders, but they have a 4x36 belt sander. It's a belt sander with a disc on it. That's $80. Then they just have a belt sander. That's $55. And then they have an oscillating spindle sander, which actually may, because of the prices, I may be able to buy 2. And then that one is a little bit more expensive. That one's $150. Now, the bench top grinders and buffers, they range between like $50 and about $100. Depends on the motor and the actual shaft size. So that is my idea of the prices. Like I said, I can go to Eastman, and they're a lot more expensive. I would say probably about 30 to 40, believe it or not, 30 to 40% more. I did get some equipment from Eastman already in preparation for doing kind of refinishing work, because, and this is going off topic, but something I want to mention. I've gotten a small welder, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Like if I'm making some 80% lowers, I'm going to have to refinish these, right? This is an AK lower. Also, I've got a couple of AR lowers, 80%ers, and so they have to be milled out. But what's applicable to this class is that they have to be refinished. With the 80% lowers, they're aluminum, so I'm going to have to, or alloy, I'm going to have to anodize them. I'm going to work on some anodizing options, or maybe I'll just Duracoat them. These, the lowers, I believe I'll parkerize. So that's another item that I'm hoping to learn in this class. So hopefully this has answered all of the questions in here. I can include a diagram. I'll see if I can put it in the descriptive, but like I said,